of the programming this year is geared in that direction, since it has been such a hot topic in society at large?
Well, there's quite a bit of programming specifically focused on blockchain. We had an event where we had probably 4,000 or so people in attendance. We're running a lounge, the Ethereal Lounge. Consensys is running that, and we've got right now a Women in Blockchain event going on as we speak. We've had events with Stephen Wolfram of Mathematica fame, and a full slate over the last few days of those sorts of activities, but also just walking around, being in all the different events around the area. Everybody's talking about blockchain either in the event or just peripherally.
When they talk about blockchain, to what extent are they not really highlighting Bitcoin? I point that out because the Bitcoin bubble has seemingly burst, even as there's a lot going on once you check out the price action of some of the other platforms and look into the demand for blockchain and for cryptocurrencies at large.
Well, it may be hard to tell because we're so focused on Ethereum. We're so focused on building decentralized applications on the Ethereum platform. We're so much less focused on cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Consider Ether to be a crypto fuel that powers applications on the decentralized World Wide Web. But I would argue that we've seen a correction in our space, but calling the bubble to have been popped is a little short-sighted. I think there's tremendous foundational, fundamental work being built in our ecosystem, and it's very, very early days for the ecosystem.
Joe, throughout the first several quarters of 2017, we saw an explosion of initial coin offerings, many of which were built to run on top of the Ethereum network. Of course, lately there's been a lot of anxiety about a regulatory crackdown and the status of many of these coins. How much does that threaten the interest in Ethereum if one of the main applications of it is under so much regulatory scrutiny?
So we're extremely happy about how things are going globally with regulators. There are many different jurisdictions that are excited about tokenized securities or utility tokens that wouldn't be considered securities, and that's actually true in this country as well, in the United States. There are many great applications being built worldwide on Ethereum and with other blockchain technologies, but there are many bad projects and there are many fraudulent projects. So it is perfectly reasonable for a bit of a pause in our ecosystem. It is important, I think, for many projects to do their legal homework and issue tokens properly.
You talk about all the projects that have been launched on Ethereum that you describe as promising. The underlying platform, though, still is not particularly robust with respect to scaling. A few months ago, there was a collectible cats card game that basically brought the whole thing to a halt. What is the timeline of a roadmap where someone can launch something and can be sort of expected to really run without slowing down the network?
So it is remarkably robust with respect to security, and throughout history, software developers have been pushing the bounds on scalability for every platform that they've been on. We've traded high transaction throughput for this new trust infrastructure that enables better collaboration. We are seeing technologies like state channels. We're seeing technologies like Plasma that's going to ramify this year in the next few months for different kinds of applications. The CryptoKitties application was one excellent test showing us where some of our clients were weak, and some of those issues have been fixed already, and it shows us how we can build better, more scalable architectures. So short term, there will be some excellent fixes in 2018. Over the next 2 years, we're going to see dramatic scalability increases.
Joe, there are some new derivatives coming to Ether. Consensys is partnering with an exchange called True Digital, and it looks like you guys are going to have some sort of swaps that are tied to Ether. What effect is this going to have here? Obviously, we already have some derivatives for cryptocurrencies. We have the futures that are traded on CBOE and CME. What then does this bring to the table, and how will it change the pricing, for example?
Yeah, so Bitcoin's a cryptocurrency. and there are cash-settled futures. CBOE and CME issued those. That was an interesting early step in the development of an adjacent financial industry infrastructure. Ether, as I indicated before, is a crypto fuel, the first crypto commodity. There are other crypto commodities for decentralized storage, decentralized bandwidth, decentralized heavy compute. We need real financial infrastructure around these things. So in addition to having some cash settled forwards for Bitcoin and for Ether, very soon we're going to see deliverable forwards, really rationalizing how those other kinds of financial instruments are linked into the spot markets.